Okay, let's unpack this. We've got quite a stack of material here, all diving deep into the AI revolution and, well, the future of work.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
It really is. And it's not just about those headlines you see, the ones asking if a robot's going to take your job tomorrow. This feels bigger.
It's definitely bigger. We're talking about really profound changes in how employment works right across the board.
Mm.
From factory floors all the way up to like high-level office jobs.
And that feeling, that sort of information overload, all the conflicting news stories about AI, it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like things are changing incredibly fast, almost too fast to keep up with sometimes.
Right. So our mission with this deep dive is really to try and cut through some of that noise. We're going to use these sources you've provided as our guide.
Exactly. We'll pull out the key insights, the really important bits of knowledge for you.
The idea is to help you understand the complexity of this transformation. We're not just looking at job displacement.
No, it's displacement and creation. Automation and, crucially, this idea of augmentation. How AI might actually help humans do more.
Yeah, so we're basically using this material as our map, navigating the landscape of AI's impact on work together.
Think of us as exploring these findings right alongside you, figuring it out as we go through the material.
And the big question, the one that kind of kicks everything off in these sources, the one probably on your mind too, is will AI take my job?
It's the natural question, isn't it?
But the sources,
Yeah.
they tell us straight away it's not a simple yes or no. Not even close.
No, it's way more complex. It's an evolution. And that complexity is precisely why we need to do this deep dive, really get into it.
So how are we structuring this?
Okay, so we'll start by looking back, see what lessons history might hold. Then we'll examine the immediate impact AI is having right now. The disruption, yes, but also the opportunities emerging.
And that augmentation piece you mentioned.
Oh yeah, we'll spend a good chunk of time on that. The idea of AI as a co-pilot really changes the conversation. Then we'll move into the skills you'll actually need in this new landscape.
Makes sense. Skills are key.
Then the broader societal shifts, inequality, job quality, ethics, all that. And finally, we'll look at what can actually be done. Policy responses, strategies for navigating this whole transition.
All right, sounds like a solid plan. Let's kick things off by setting the stage, looking back. Section 1, Lessons from History. The sources immediately frame AI as this massive, transformative force, don't they?
They really do. They draw direct
Yeah.
parallels to, well, the biggest industrial revolutions of the past. Think steam engine in the 19th century kind of impact.
Wow, okay, so not just another tech update.
No, the sources are arguing this is fundamentally reshaping economic structures, society itself, and the drivers they point to are, well, the speed of digitalization combined with this new wave of intelligent automation.
And that central question, will AI take your job, keeps popping up.
It's the thread running through it all. But the sources consistently say, look, you can't answer that with a headline. You need to explore it deeply.
So why look back? Why is history relevant here?
Because understanding how we navigated huge technological shifts before gives us vital context. It's not the first time technology has caused widespread anxiety about jobs.
Right.
History shows this recurring pattern. New tech arrives, people worry, understandably, but it also creates new opportunities, often in ways people didn't expect. It helps frame today's anxieties.
Okay, so let's rewind. First Industrial Revolution. Late 18th, 19th centuries. Big shift from farming to factories.
Yeah, exactly. And the sources highlight those iconic inventions. The spinning jenny back in 1764, steam engines becoming widespread, the cotton gin. These weren't just small improvements.
No, they directly replaced tasks people did by hand for, well, forever.
Right, automating manual labor on a massive scale.
And the sources showed this caused real, immediate job losses, the spinning jenny alone.
Yeah, the numbers are stark. By 1790, tens of thousands of hand spinners in England out of work. Just from that one invention. That kind of disruption, it caused real social unrest.
Which leads to things like the Luddite Rebellion.
Exactly, the sources bring that up. 1811 to 1816. Around 50,000 textile workers, seeing their livelihoods disappear because of automated looms, started destroying the machines.
You can understand the fear, the reaction.
Absolutely. It was a visceral response to feeling like your skills, your whole way of life, were becoming obsolete overnight.
But the long-term view, according to these sources, looks very different.
Radically different. Yes, there was painful disruption initially, but those same revolutions, they laid the foundation for entirely new industries. They massively increased productivity.
Making goods cheaper, more accessible.
Right. Things like clothes, tools, all sorts of manufactured goods became available to way more people, which ultimately improved quality of life for many.
And the key historical takeaway here is more jobs, not fewer.
That's the critical point from the historical data in the sources. It led to a net increase in employment over time. The economic boom created more jobs than the technology initially destroyed.
The sources give some pretty powerful numbers on that.
They really do. In the U.S., industrial labor didn't vanish. It exploded.
Yeah.
From 3.5 million workers in 1870 to 14.2 million by 1910, manufacturing jobs, quadrupled between 1880 and 1920, from 2.5 million to 10 million.
Wow.
And get this, the sources point to an 85% increase in overall U.S. employment since 1940, and they attribute that largely to technological evolution. History shows that while the short-term pain is real, the long-term trend has been adaptation and job growth.
Okay, fast forward, mid-20th century, computers arrive, the digital age, another wave of automation, but different targets.
Exactly. Early computers, say the 50s through the 70s, started automating routine cognitive tasks, not just physical ones. Think accounting, bookkeeping, data entry, admin work.
Tasks that involved calculations, sorting data.
Stuff machines could suddenly do much faster, much more accurately than humans.
And again, displacement. The sources mention specific numbers.
Yeah, around 400,000 clerical jobs gone in the U.S. by the late 70s. Roles like human computers, people who literally did calculations by hand or basic data entry clerks, they just weren't needed in the same way.
But just like before, new fields emerged.
Right. The computer age created software development, data analysis, IT support, network administration, entirely new professions that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
The definition of routine work expanded.
And the sources bring up a really interesting example from this period, the ATM paradox.
Ah, yeah, that one's fascinating. ATMs started popping up in the 70s that exploded in the U.S., quadrupled between 95 and 2010. So your gut feeling is...
Bye-bye, bank tellers.
That's the paradox. Instead of wiping them out, the number of bank tellers in the U.S. actually went up slightly during that time.
What?
Well, the sources explain that ATMs made running a bank branch much cheaper. Lower costs meant banks could afford to open more branches. So even though each branch needed fewer tellers thanks to the ATMs, the huge increase in the total number of branches meant more teller jobs overall.
That's incredible. It shows how tech efficiency doesn't always equal job loss. It can expand markets or change how services are delivered in unexpected ways.
Exactly. It's not always a zero-sum game. And this history reinforces that pattern the sources keep returning to. Tech causes short-term pain, displacement, but historically it's followed by significant job creation.
This idea of compensation theory.
Right. Economists argue technological unemployment is usually temporary. The market adapts. The persistent fear that this time it'll lead to permanent mass unemployment. The sources call that the Luddite fallacy.
And the data backs this up. U.S. employment rates rising despite automation and more people entering the workforce.
Yeah, the employment-to-population ratio actually rose through the 20th century. Historically, tech changed what we do. It didn't make humans obsolete.
But, and this is the big but the sources raise.
This time might be different. That's the critical question.
Why? What's different about AI?
The argument highlighted in the sources is AI's ability to automate complex cognitive functions. Things we thought were uniquely human: writing, analysis, creative problem-solving, pattern recognition in complex data.
Stuff previous machines couldn't touch.
Exactly. Because AI can do that, some researchers cited in the material worry that the old compensation mechanisms, the ways new jobs traditionally appeared, might not work as effectively this time. They raise the possibility of a more lasting end-of-work scenario, at least for certain kinds of jobs or segments of the population.
That definitely sets the stage. AI isn't just another machine. Its capabilities feel qualitatively different. Okay, that historical context is crucial. Let's shift to section 2, AI's immediate impact. What's happening right now? Disruption and opportunity.
And the sources really try to quantify this. The numbers vary quite a bit depending on the study, but they all paint a picture of, well, major transformation.
Give us a sense of the scale. What kind of numbers are we talking about from these sources?
Okay, so Goldman Sachs estimates something like 300 million full-time jobs globally could be exposed to automation, particularly from generative AI. That's huge. Maybe 9% of all jobs worldwide.
Exposed, meaning parts of the job could be automated?
Yeah, or the job might change significantly. Looking at the US and Europe, another projection suggests maybe 60% of jobs could see some tasks automated. And for about a quarter of current work tasks, AI could potentially handle them entirely. The ILO, the International Labor Organization, has a more cautious estimate, around 2.3% of global jobs fully automated soon.
Those are big ranges, but all point to significant change. And McKinsey looks at it differently, right? Not just automation, but career changes.
Right. McKinsey suggests that by 2030, maybe 14% of the global workforce, that's a staggering 375 million people, might need to switch occupations entirely because of AI and automation. That highlights the sheer scale of the transition, even if new jobs appear elsewhere.
So who's most vulnerable this time around? The sources say it's not just the low-skilled manual jobs anymore.
No, and that's a key shift. AI is increasingly impacting, quote, high-wage cognitive roles. The sources specifically mention entry-level positions, especially in white-collar fields, are facing a higher risk.
Examples.
Well, they estimate AI could automate over half the tasks currently done by market research analysts, 53%, or sales representatives, maybe 67% of their tasks. That doesn't mean the job disappears entirely, but it changes drastically.
That's a major change for those fields, especially for people just starting out. Are there specific professions the sources predict will see significant job losses?
Yeah, the ones consistently mentioned for decline include roles like data entry clerks, administrative secretaries, and certain types of accounting and bookkeeping jobs. Basically, roles heavy on structured, repetitive data processing. AI is just getting very good at that.
And this isn't isolated, right? It's hitting across many industries.
Oh, it's incredibly broad. The courses list examples everywhere: manufacturing, assembly lines, quality control robots and automated systems, retail, automated checkouts, AI for inventory mean fewer cashiers, stock clerks, transportation. Autonomous vehicles are a clear threat to truck drivers, taxi drivers,
Customer service?
AI chatbots handling routine questions, reducing the load on human agents, banking and finance, AI in transaction handling, risk management, journalism, automated content generation affecting entry-level writing jobs.
Wow. Any others mentioned?
Yeah, briefly, telemarketing, travel agencies, HR for resume screening, security using AI surveillance, real estate with virtual tours, even traditional education roles feeling pressure from AI tools. It's really widespread.
Yeah.
And this leads to a huge issue the sources call the churn problem.
Churn, meaning people moving between jobs.
Exactly. Even if, optimistically, AI creates more jobs than it destroys overall, the volume of displacement is massive. Millions might lose jobs in one area and need to find something completely different requiring new skills. It's a huge reshuffling.
And this churn doesn't hit everyone equally, does it? This seems critical for the social impact.
Absolutely not. The sources are very clear. This churn is not evenly distributed. It disproportionately impacts certain groups, often already facing disadvantages.
Like who?
Clerical workers, people with lower digital skills, older workers who might find reskilling tougher, women, especially in those admin roles, and minority communities who are often overrepresented in the jobs most vulnerable to automation.
So even if the national job numbers look okay eventually, the transition could be incredibly painful and costly for specific groups.
That's a major policy challenge highlighted. It's not just about the total number of jobs, it's managing the fallout. Unemployment spikes in certain areas or demographics, the burden of reskilling, and the real risk of making existing inequalities even worse.
And there's a geographic angle, too. It hits some places harder than others.
Definitely. AI's impact varies by region. Cities whose economies rely heavily on industries vulnerable to automation, think services, sales, office support, manufacturing, often lower wage sectors, they face a much higher risk.
The sources gave some U.S. examples.
Yeah, striking ones. Fresno, California, 53.8% of jobs estimated at risk. Las Vegas, Nevada, 49.1% at risk. These are places with economies concentrated in those vulnerable sectors.
And compare that to cities with different economic bases.
Right. Contrast that with, say, Boston or Washington, D.C. Both are listed at a lower risk, around 38.4%. Their economies are more diversified, with more jobs in government, education, healthcare, advanced tech fields, where complex human skills are perhaps more central, even as AI is adopted.
So AI could actually worsen regional economic divides, create pockets of real crisis.
That's a serious concern raised in the sources. Localized impact could be severe, even if the national picture seems stable.
Okay, that covers the disruption side. But the sources also paint a more optimistic picture, the rise of new jobs, new industries.
Yes, this is the flip side. The argument, echoing history, is that AI will ultimately create more jobs than it displaces. The World Economic Forum, WEF, projections cited are pretty bullish on this.
What do those WEF numbers say?
One projection suggests that by 2025, while AI might displace 75 million jobs globally, it could simultaneously create 133 million new ones. That's a net gain of 58 million jobs.
That's a significant net gain.
Yeah, another WEF projection, looking just at AI and info processing tech, estimates 11 million jobs created versus 9 million displaced, still positive. McKinsey also chimes in, suggesting AI could create 20 to 50 million new jobs globally by 2030.
And these aren't just slightly modified old jobs, right? The sources talk about completely new professions emerging.
Totally new roles. Think about AI prompt engineers, people who specialize in getting the best results out of generative AI, or AI trainers and teachers. We need people to teach us how to use these tools effectively.
Data scientists are still in demand.
Hugely. Data analysts, data scientists, the need is exploding. Plus new roles like human-machine teaming managers, people overseeing collaboration between humans and AI. And AI ethics specialists, policy advisors, that's a whole new field.
So jobs about managing AI, what about the tech roles using AI?
Those are booming too. The sources list fastest growing tech roles. Big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI and machine learning specialists themselves, software and app developers. These are the folks building and deploying the AI systems.
And it's not just tech companies. AI is changing traditional sectors too, creating opportunities within them.
Absolutely, it's transforming them from the inside. Healthcare. AI is improving diagnostics, personalizing treatments, speeding up drug discovery, streamlining admin, creating new tech-focused roles within hospitals and research labs. Finance. Enhancing risk management, fraud detection, freeing up humans for complex strategy.
What about, say, agriculture or education?
Agriculture is using AI for precision farming, better crop yields, disease detection, resource management. Education, AI for personalized learning tools, virtual tutors, changing the educator's role. Marketing, hyper-targeted ads, audience insights, even AI generating ad copy or visuals. Entertainment, AI in special effects, animation, sound design. It's embedding itself everywhere, creating new needs and roles.
So new capabilities, new demands for skills across the board.
Pretty much. But the sources also flag a potential downside to automating entry-level work, the talent pipeline problem.
Meaning?
Well, if those traditional first steps on the career ladder, the junior admin role, the entry-level analyst get automated away, how do people get started? How do they gain the experience to move up? It could reshape career progression itself.
And potentially make it harder for people without existing connections or advantages to break into certain fields. Could impact social mobility.
That's the concern. It's not just about the number of jobs, but the structure of opportunity and how accessible careers are, a really important nuance.
Okay, let's shift perspective again. We've done displacement, creation. Now, section 3, AI augmentation. This idea that AI helps us rather than just replaces us. The sources really emphasize this.
They really do. This seems to be emerging as the dominant way to think about AI in the workplace, according to the material. Not replacement, but AI as an intelligent assistant, a co-pilot.
So human-machine collaboration, augmenting what we can do.
Precisely. And the business results seem compelling. Sources say companies using AI this way report significantly higher revenue growth, like 2.5 times higher, and productivity gains 2.4 times greater than companies that aren't.
That's a huge competitive advantage, and it lets companies potentially do more, earn more, maybe even pay more.
That's the potential positive cycle. Increased efficiency can lead to growth. And for the worker, the key benefit is AI taking over the routine, the repetitive, the data-heavy stuff.
Freeing up human brain power for what?
For the harder stuff,
Yeah.
complex reasoning, creativity, critical thinking, strategic planning, dealing with ambiguity, empathy, interpersonal skills, all the things AI still finds really difficult or impossible.
And this changes workflows, not just single tasks, but whole processes.
Yeah, the sources talk about moving beyond automating one step to orchestrating entire workflows. AI might schedule the meeting, draft the follow-up email, generate the initial report, maybe even write some basic code, all under human supervision.
So the human role shifts to overseeing, directing the AI.
Exactly. You become the conductor of these AI agents. It requires judgment, direction, validation. You're not doing the manual task. You're managing the intelligent tools to achieve a bigger outcome.
The sources also mention a potential democratizing effect, making skills more accessible.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
AI could lower the barrier for some tasks. There's research cited, for instance, showing AI tools gave a much bigger productivity boost to lower-skilled call center workers, like a 34% improvement compared to already high-skilled ones. The AI assistant helped level the playing field a bit.
That's really interesting, but there's a catch.
A big one. This potential only works if people get the right training. They need basic AI literacy, how to work with the tool effectively. And they still need strong foundational skills like complex problem solving. Without that, the sources warn AI could create a new digital divide, separating those who can leverage AI from those who can't.
There's also this concept of super agency mentioned briefly.
Yeah, it's this idea that humans and AI working together create something more capable than either alone. AI actively amplifies your ability to act, to create, to achieve things. The goal becomes designing AI to maximize human potential.
That's a powerful framing. So, practically, how does augmentation change task allocation?
It's about playing to strengths. AI does the grunt work, data crunching, routine processing, pattern spotting. Humans do the uniquely human things. Originality, ethical judgments, complex communication, empathy, physical interaction. It lets us focus on the big picture, strategy, relationships.
Let's make it concrete. Examples from the sources across industries.
Sure. Healthcare.
Yeah.
AI handles scheduling, paperwork, prior authorizations. Clinicians get more time for actual patient care, complex diagnoses. Finance. AI does risk assessment, fraud detection, routine reporting. Professionals focus on complex strategy, client advising.
Creative fields, technical roles.
Marketing content. AI drafts copy, suggests ideas, analyzes data. Humans focus on strategy, originality, final polish. Engineering IT. AI runs simulations, optimizes designs, writes boilerplate code. Engineers focus on innovation, system design. Network automation handles routine checks, freeing up IT staff for complex issues.
Customer service.
HR, customer service. Chatbots handle common questions, 247. Human agents tackle the complex, sensitive issues needing empathy. HR AI screens, resumes, schedules interviews. HR pros focus on strategic talent development, employee engagement, culture.
It sounds much more collaborative. And interestingly, the sources say workers are actually quite positive about this augmentation idea.
Yeah, despite the job loss fears, a survey mentioned found 69% of U.S. employees think AI will help them do their job better. Younger workers are even more enthusiastic, 79% excited, 75% think it'll help their careers.
So framing matters, presenting AI as a helper, not a replacer.
Seems crucial, according to the sources.
Mhm.
It boosts morale, engagement, and willingness to learn the new tools. How AI is introduced is as important as the tech itself.
Really important point. Okay, section 4, skills and societal shifts. The human side. AI is changing what skills are valuable.
Fundamentally reshaping skill demand. And the sources stress it's not just about coding AI. It's about developing skills that complement AI.
So the value of certain skills goes up, others go down.
Pretty much. As AI gets better at routine cognitive tasks, the value of just having those skills decreases. The premium shifts to uniquely human abilities that AI can't replicate, or can't replicate well.
What are those key human skills the sources highlight?
They break them down cognitively. Creativity, originality, generating genuinely new stuff. Complex problem-solving beyond patterns, critical thinking, ethical judgment, especially around AI. Nuanced human insight.
Makes sense. What about interpersonal skills?
Crucial. Socio-emotional skills. Resilience, adaptability, bouncing back, learning fast. Flexibility, agility. Curiosity, lifelong learning mindset. Communication, clearly explaining complex things, listening. Collaboration with humans and AI. Leadership, influence. Empathy, emotional intelligence.
And technical skills, still needed, but maybe different.
Still needed, but maybe less deep coding for everyone, and more about effective use. Foundational digital literacy is baseline. Then, AI and big data literacy, understanding how these systems work, their limitations. Basic network cybersecurity awareness, ability to use advanced analytics tools, being a smart user and manager of AI.
The OECD research mentioned backs this up.
It does. Looking at job ads for roles highly exposed to AI, they saw demand increase most for management skills, business process skills like project management, and social skills. And, tellingly, a big jump in demand for originality.
Originality again, that creative spark. So human skills plus AI literacy seems to be the combo.
That's the message coming through. This leads to another major point. Differential impacts and labor market polarization. Historically, automation hit low-skill manual jobs hardest. AI flips the script somewhat.
So,
The sources show AI impacting high-skilled, white-collar cognitive roles significantly, sometimes more than manual ones. Examples cited as susceptible due to language image AI include telemarketers, certain teachers, sociologists, political scientists, even architects and chemical engineers. That's different from past waves.
wow. So having a degree or a knowledge worker job isn't automatic protection.
Not necessarily. Brookings Institution research cited found workers with bachelor's degrees plus could be 5 times more exposed to AI than those with only high school degrees. Higher-paying, white-collar jobs like financial specialists, life science techs, credit analysts showed high exposure. AI is moving up the cognitive ladder.
Leading to skill polarization.
Yeah. growth at the very high end, AI creators, strategists, and potential growth in some non-automatable service jobs, but a squeeze on mid-level routine cognitive work, alongside risks for low-skilled routine tasks.
And the connection to income inequality.
It's complex, and the sources show some conflicting views. But the dominant concern seems to be that AI could worsen inequality. It boosts the productivity and pay of top performers who can leverage it well, while potentially displacing or devaluing others. It can polarize pay within the same occupation.
And it intersects with demographics again.
Absolutely. If certain groups are concentrated in jobs becoming obsolete or have less access to the skills needed for augmented roles, AI can worsen existing racial and gender gaps. Sources mention Black workers and women in high-income countries potentially facing disproportionate risks based on occupational patterns.
Although some studies suggest it could reduce inequality.
There's some debate. If AI mainly displaces very high earners, it could compress wages. But the sources suggest the complementarity effect. AI making high-skilled workers even more productive often seems stronger, potentially widening gaps. It seems very context-dependent.
And job security isn't just high skill versus low skill anymore. There's another factor.
A really interesting one. Task diversity or variance. The sources suggest jobs involving a wide range of tasks, especially those needing human judgment, creativity, or interaction, are more resilient. Even if AI automates part of your job, if you do many different things, you can shift focus to the less automatable parts.
So adaptability and having a diverse role matters more than just the level of the job.
It seems so. Future job design might need to focus on creating roles with more breadth and flexibility to build in that resilience. A key takeaway for individuals, too.
Okay, let's broaden out. Section 5. Broader societal dimensions. Beyond jobs and skills.
Right. We need to talk about the wider ripples. Income inequality is one big one. We've touched on the risk of AI concentrating wealth with capital owners and highly skilled workers. Mitigating bias in AI is crucial here, too.
But also job quality and worker satisfaction.
Huge point. AI could make jobs better, safer, less boring, more engaging by taking over the bad parts.
But the sources found a potential downside. Even making people more productive didn't make them happier.
That scientist study is really telling. 17% productivity jump. But 82% felt less satisfied. They felt devalued. Like they were just checking the AI's homework, not doing real science.
That's profound, an existential threat to the meaning of work.
It could be. The sources argue companies need to actively redesign roles to keep humans engaged, using their creativity, maintaining a sense of purpose. Just optimizing for efficiency isn't enough. Ignoring this could lead to burnout, disengagement, less innovation.
Mental health impacts.
Double-edged sword, according to the sources. Can worsen it, job insecurity, adaptation stress. But AI could also help wellness apps, predictive care, chatbots for support, reducing clinician burnout.
And then the massive ethical concerns. Bias, privacy, accountability.
Absolutely critical. Algorithmic bias. AI trained on biased data learns and replicates those biases in hiring, promotions, etc., harming already marginalized groups.
Privacy.
AI systems hoover up data, huge privacy risks, cyber attack targets, need strong data governance, encryption, access controls, compliance with GDPR, CCPA, etc.
And the black box problem. Accountability.
Right. Hard to know why an AI made a decision. Growing demand for transparency and explainability. Who's responsible when it goes wrong? Need clear accountability structures, ways for people to report problems.
The sources push for human-in-the-loop governance, ethics built in.
Yeah, the argument is you can't just regulate after the fact. Ethics needs to be embedded from the start: design, data, deployment, monitoring. A proactive approach focused on human rights, human values, with safeguards like human oversight and risk management.
Build it in, don't bolt it on. Makes sense. Okay, final section, navigating the transition. Policy responses, strategic imperatives. What can we actually do?
It has to be a combined effort. Governments, businesses, individuals, educators. All hands on deck.
And reskilling, upskilling, lifelong learning comes up again and again.
It's paramount. That stat, 59 out of 100 workers needing retraining by 2030, shows the scale. We need continuous learning. Reskilling for new jobs, upskilling for current jobs, using new tools. Both are vital.
Any examples of companies doing this well, according to the sources?
Several are mentioned. Microsoft's big digital skills programs. Oracle using AI to guide employee learning. Amazon's internal machine learning university for reskilling. Verizon's $44 million investment. Bank of America's Academy reducing attrition by investing in staff.
And government initiatives.
Yep. U.S. presidential order on AI literacy, K-12 and beyond. Teacher training, apprenticeships. GSA training federal workers. OECD pushing for education system reform. U.S. policy focusing on skills like critical thinking and ethics alongside AI.
But it's not easy. The sources list a lot of challenges to effective training.
Huge challenges: employee fear and resistance,
Yeah.
lack of good, accessible training, companies not aligning training with strategy, not enough leadership support, the sheer complexity, training lagging behind AI speed, digital literacy gaps preventing people from even starting AI training.
And the risk that the people needing it most are least likely to get it.
Exactly, worsening that divide. Needs targeted, accessible solutions.
Beyond training, what about bigger policy ideas? Universal basic income, UBI, comes up.
Yeah, UBI, a regular, unconditional payment to all citizens, is discussed as a potential safety net in an AI-driven economy, with potentially fewer traditional jobs or lower wages.
The arguments for it?
Reduce poverty, inequality, improve health, enable education or starting a business, reduce gender gaps by valuing unpaid work, enhance social cohesion.
And the arguments against?
Cost is huge. Might reduce work incentive, maybe not targeted enough, doesn't fix underlying issues like healthcare costs, and the worry it could just let AI owners get richer while everyone else gets a basic handout.
Another idea. The robot tax.
Taxing automation to offset displacement. Bill Gates is a proponent mentioned.
Arguments for?
Fund retraining, UBI, stabilize tax revenue if wages fall. Maybe incentivize keeping humans employed.
Arguments against?
Could kill innovation, slow growth, raise costs for businesses, consumers. Hard to implement what counts as a robot. Could hurt competitiveness if done unilaterally.
Finally, regulation and ethical governance seem non-negotiable.
Absolutely essential for trust and fairness. Need clear rules for responsible AI use, protecting workers.
The EU AI Act is a key example.
Yes, its risk-based approach labels employment AI as high risk, triggering stricter rules.
Key things employers need to consider under such rules.
Transparency, explainability, gotta explain AI decisions. Accountability, who's responsible, how to report problems. Prohibition of harmful uses like manipulation. Human oversight for high-risk systems, allowing human review. And compliance with all existing laws, privacy, anti-discrimination, labor laws.
So AI doesn't get a free pass on existing rules.
Not at all. And implementing this is complex for businesses: data quality, security, integration, cost.
Which brings us back to that trust deficit.
Right. Even if people see augmentation benefits, fear persists. Trust needs training, yes, but also worker consultation. Introducing AI without involving employees breeds suspicion. It's a human challenge, not just tech. Lack of trust kills adoption.
And this is all happening in a global context.
Yeah, AI policy is part of global competition. Regulations in one place affect investment everywhere. The EU Act might set a standard, need international dialogue to avoid a race to the bottom or fragmented rules.
Okay, wow. We've covered a massive amount, pulling directly from these sources. It's crystal clear that the answer to, will AI take my job, is complicated.
It's a total transformation of work. We've seen the history, the current disruption in creation, the huge potential of augmentation, the shifting skills.
And the deep societal challenges, inequality, job quality, ethics. It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
And the sources emphasize we need deliberate action. Investing in people, lifelong learning, designing AI for humans, ethical rules, these are the keys.
And crucially, this future isn't set in stone. The sources stress our choices matter. Governments, businesses, individuals, we're all shaping this.
It's about steering towards a human-centric future, ensuring fairness, managing the transition thoughtfully. That's the recurring theme.
So based on everything we've unpacked from these sources, here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given how AI is changing not just what tasks we do, but possibly the value of different skills and the meaning we get from work itself, what does a truly human-centric future of work actually look like to you? And what active part can you play in building it beyond just adapting to whatever comes next?
Definitely something to reflect on as this revolution continues to unfold.
Indeed. That brings us to the end of this deep dive.